Today is July 2nd, 2002. My name is Joe Todd. This is an interview with Monty Zwanziger in Woodward, Oklahoma for the Eisenhower Library. Sir, where were you born?
Huron, South Dakota,
Huron, South Dakota.
12/30/1946.
Who was your father?
Leonard D. Zwanziger.
And your mother?
Doris L. Weeding, W-E-A-T-I-N-G.
Did you go through school in Huron?
Third grade.
Third grade.
Then we moved to Tyndall, South Dakota, and I graduated from there in 1966.
1966. Now, did your parents, grandparents come from Germany or Russia?
They came from Germany.
Okay.
They herded 400 pigs across the Missouri River, where they landed and herded them that far into South Dakota and Iowa.
And when did they come from Germany?
Early 1700s.
Okay.
But it's amazing to herd 400 pigs about 1,500 miles, something like that. And so it was quite an experience for them.
So what did you do after high school?
I went into the service 1967. I was drafted.
And where'd you go for your basic training?
I went to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Then from there I went to Fort Polk, Louisiana, but I only stayed there for less than 2 weeks because they needed manpower.
Now, you took your basic at Fort Leonard Wood?
Yes.
Tell me about basic.
Oh, boy. I did good in it. Just all we did was basic training. That's all I can tell you we did. We ran. We learned how to shoot the weapons. We learned how to do combat, how to fight, things like that. Then,
Now, give me the date you were drafted again.
I was drafted, in 1967. I can't remember the exact date, to tell you the truth.
What month?
January.
January. Okay. What's your most vivid memory of basic?
Oh, the PT training. I did well in it. I had the highest record ever recorded in Fort Leonard, Missouri. I had 496 points out of 500. So I got a 3-day pass. Long weekend. Everything paid for, though. They paid for my airline ticket to go home and everything. So it was kind of well worth it for me.
So you went to Fort Polk.
I went to Fort Polk, Louisiana, and I was trained on the 106 howitzers. Those are the guns that sit on the back of Jeeps, and they shoot at the tanks and things like this. You know, that's what they're basically used for.
You were at Tigerland?
That's where I was at, yes.
Tigerland.
Yeah.
Why is it called Tigerland?
I have no idea because it's so hot, I think. But I don't know why they call it Tigerland. I didn't, you know what, that's something I never did is I went there, did what they told me to, but I never got involved with it at all. I mean, I did what I was told, and, but we were in Tigerland. I remember that.
Were you assigned to a unit at this time?
No, I didn't get assigned to a unit till, like I said, I was only there 2 weeks, and a lot of them were there, 8 weeks. But I don't know why I got sent so fast, but they just came in one morning, lined up, and they said, you, go down to the back to the barracks, and there'll be somebody there meeting you. And when we got back there, there was probably, the whole barrack full, and said, you're going home for 2 weeks, then you're going to Vietnam. And I think they just kind of randomly picked everybody, but I was one of them that was picked, and I went there, and I got a 2-week leave and then headed over to Vietnam.
When they told you you're going to Vietnam, what was your reaction?
I don't think I had a reaction. Some people, they get really down and out, and I just, my whole family's been military. My brother served at the end of World War I. He served the Korean War and served 3 terms in Vietnam. My other brother was a Korean veteran, and so, we all kind of just knew that, it never really bothered me. I just went over there. I don't think I realized what war is about. I mean, I was young, just out of high school, didn't care, you know, and I just went over there with the thought in mind that, you know, I'm going to be a 106 howitzer man. I'm going to be artillery. Stay in the back, you know, but that didn't happen.
So you left the States from where?
Well, I left from San Francisco.
Okay. And when did you leave?
January, boy, I can't, I wish I would have brought that stuff with me, but let's see, I went January 13th. It's been 8 weeks, that's 2. I think I got to Vietnam June 13th. I remember 13th, June 13th, so.
1967.
1967, yes. Because it was the same, I mean, I just went through the 8 weeks basic training at Fort Leonard Wood. Got 2 weeks off, then I had 2 weeks there, then I had to go to jungle training in Panama for a month or something like that. When I hit to Vietnam, it was June 13th. Everything happened on the 13th. That's what was the amazing part of this. And 13 is my lucky number, so.
What did you do in Panama?
Just went through kind of a training to jungle warfare.
Is that the School of the Americas?
Is what?
Was that the School of the Americas?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They had Vietnamese people there training, telling us what it's going to be like over there and what to look for. I was a point man when I got there. I really wasn't a point man, but I got to be a point man when I went to the line unit. At first of all, I was what you call a LARP, long range reconnaissance patrol, and that didn't go over too well for me.
And what unit were you assigned to?
I was through Delta, 2nd of the 1st.
I'm sorry?
Delta, 2nd of the 1st.
2nd of the 1st?
Mm-hmm. Infantry.
1st Infantry.
Yeah.
1st Infantry?
Mm-hmm. And it was called, the same like you have today, the Delta Force.
Mm-hmm.
We went out, sat on a mountain for 2 or 3 days, sometimes a week, and just recon it, walk around. You move at night, you sit up in the daytime. And
Now, when you say Delta, is this like D Company or what?
yes, Delta Company.
Delta Company?
Yeah, 2nd of the 1st.
2nd?
Second, I don't know how they do. It's been too many years for me.
That's 1st Infantry Division.
Right.
2nd Regiment or 2nd Battalion?
2nd Regiment, I'm sure. That's what it'd be.
Okay.
Then I went to the Americal Division.
Mm-hmm.
And about, I don't know, halfway through my first tour, they came out with all new patches and said, you now belong to the American Division. I originally went over there with the 196.
196?
Uh-huh.
Infantry?
Infantry.
Okay. So you no longer artillery?
Now, when I got to Da Nang, there was no artillery there. That they said you'll get your dress clothes, and we flew in a chopper to Hill 69. Then from Hill 69, we walked clear to the DMZ, which was 168 miles, something I think we figured it out to be. But we walked all the way to the top, through the mountains, that far.
What did you think, trained artillery and then you're in the infantry? What were you thinking?
That just happens to everybody, though. Their MOS is in one area, then when you get into a combat zone, it can change. I've had people from the line unit that went artillery, just total opposite what they were trained for, and that happens a lot. So that's what we did.
So you walked to the DMZ, and what happened?
Well, I mean, it took us several weeks to get there. I mean, we had about 142 in my company, and the first night out, we got into an ambush, and they always put the new guys in the back till they get kind of trained, and that's where they hit us, was from the back. They let us walk through. The guy in front of me and the guy behind me fell down. They were shot, and I was just standing there, because I didn't know what to do. Then all of a sudden they start yelling at you, get down, and I finally went down into the water. We were walking about knee-high water, and that was an experience. That was my first experience but nobody got killed. They just got hit.
What were you carrying?
M14 at first. Then about 3 months into that year, we got a M16s.
Okay, so you're carrying the M14 and what else?
Grenade launcher and a 72 law. Everybody carried that.
You have,
Plus,
you have a backpack?
my backpack weighed 91 pounds.
What was in your backpack?
Oh, I had as many clips as I could carry of M16. I carried a pack. They came in a pack of 4, the grenade launcher, and then the 72 law. So that's what we carried. And everybody carried 2 belts of M60 machine gun belt with them too, because that was our main source of, high power. So.
Where did this ambush take place?
Right off Hill 69, about I don't know how many, maybe 10 miles. We come walking off a hill, and I can't tell you what hill it was, but I don't think it was numbered yet. We walked down into just the base of the hill, and we got into the rice paddy, and they just opened up on us. And we just called gunships in, and there was only like probably a half a dozen of them there, but they waited till everybody got through, and then they hit us. So it's quite exciting.
When you saw the 2 guys go down, what were you thinking?
I didn't know what was going on. I really didn't, because I've never been in that situation before. And then, of course, everybody else, the guys have been there for a while. This was original 196 that went to Vietnam. I got to serve with first. Then when they all went home, I was the only one left of the first 196 unit.
Now, when you say 196,
The 196.
196th Infantry.
Right.
Was it a separate regiment, or was it part of the 1st Infantry?
That was part of the 1st Infantry.
Okay.
Yeah, they were just attached, just like everything else to that. But they all got to go home at the end of their year. And, of course, I got there about 6 months into their time. And then when they went home, I was the only one left that was original, went over there and stayed with the 196 Infantry. So they sent us all new people, and that was a shock. Tremendous shock, because I was walking point. After I left the long range reconnaissance, I walked point. I was trained by a guy. The guy, his name was George Benta from New Mexico, and he was so good at it. I'm serious. I've never seen a man. He could just walk and find it. If there was a string or land, anything. I don't know if he had a nose for it or what, but he trained me very well. And I did very well, I think, because I got to come home. But I walked point from the 3rd month I was in there all the way till I came home.
Now, what is walking point?
Walking point's where you go out ahead of people about maybe 20, 30 feet and try to find all the booby traps, if there is booby traps on the trail. And we never hit a one until one guy decided he thought he could do better than I could. And he decided, we held up camp, and we was in a bamboo patch. Ended up coming off top of the hill, and I just, you get these instincts that something's wrong. And so I told everybody to sit until I get back, and I went and tried to find a way out of there, because it's just bamboos. And I did, but this guy thought he could do it, and he walked out, and he lost both his legs. And he died eventually. He did die. I think they chopped him in. He was pretty well gone. But, that was one of the new guys, and he was kind of gung-ho, and he was just that way. And you don't get that way over there. You just kind of settle in and let things happen, and you learn from that experience. And
now, the LRP, you had to have special training to be a LRP.
No, I didn't. I went to Panama. That was our training for that. They showed us what to look for and things like this. That was our training. And that's all I got. And then they issued me a gun, no backpack, 3-day supply of food. You carry down the waistband and your ammunition. You got 7 clips, and that's all we got. So after that, goodbye world, I guess. I don't know. But I was very fortunate. We only had one little skirmish, and it was about 12 Vietnamese walked right into our camp. And we were all we always slept around. If there was somewhere that had a little camouflage, that's where we slept, of course. And one was always on duty, so. And when they walked in on us, he walked on the back side where we didn't think they'd come, and they walked right in on top of us, but
And
they
were
weren't
they-
prepared either.
Were they NVA or VC?
Yes, NVA.
NVA.
Yeah,
Is that the
But-
first time you actually saw an NVA?
that's the first time I shot an NVA. Because it just, that's what we woke up to. This guy turned around and they were not aware. I think out of 12 people, they had 4 guns. The others carried ammunition, knee rockets, or what do you call these, launchers. And that was it. I mean, so this guy who was standing guard, finally heard him, and he was a little ways down. He turned around and just opened up, and of course, we were no more than maybe 5 yards from him, and we were down, sleeping, and this was in the daytime too, because we moved at night. So that was the first time I shot anybody. I think, you just spray the area anyway, but all 12 of them were gone. So
Where were you when Tet broke out?
I was in, Tet. First Tet broke out. We were in the mountains, and we were light infantry. I had 132 combat assaults
In the mountains, where?
along Highway 1, right along the Cambodian border, going up from that, going north.
How far from Pleiku?
Never been Pleiku.
That's in the Central Highlands.
That's in the Central Highlands. I've never been anything south than Da Nang.
Okay. So you were up north then? in the
Right.
mountains.
I was
Okay.
always in the north.
Okay.
Yeah. We were in the mountains. Matter of fact, we just got set up from climbing this one hill, and here come about, I think there was like 12 choppers came in and picked us up, and we went down into the valley, and we were hooked up with North Koreans. That's who we operated with for about 2
North
weeks.
Koreans.
North Koreans.
North Koreans or South Koreans?
South Koreans. I'm sorry. South Koreans, and they're fun to work with. They're crazy people. They have no mercy. They don't walk, they run through the water. And then they'll wait for you at the other end to get caught up, of course, but they were a different experience. They really were. And you go back and think about it, you were pretty well protected with them around because they were a tremendous fighting force. They weren't afraid to die or anything. And
We worked with some rocks over there. I spent 19 months over there.
Did you? I went there, and like I said, I went there in '67, came home in '69. So I was there for a little while or two, not probably as long as some people, but
I got there August 67, came back March 69.
yeah. Yeah.
So what'd you do in Tet?
Well, we just were an infantry group. We got hooked up with a tank unit, and we had 6 tanks. And I don't remember where we were going, but we hit at the end of the valley where we were at, and I don't remember what the valley's name was. But we hit about 2,500 BC at that time. But we had big support. We had the tanks, the APCs that were 50 calibers launched on them, and they were coming up the middle, and we were on each side. There was a company on one side, and my company was on the other side, and it was nothing with the gunships and everything else. Boy, it's amazing. It didn't last very long because it just didn't. When you get those gunships going, and I think we had like 4 gunships, and 2 of them were Cobras. So I can remember that pretty distinctly because that was a rocket show. He just threw lead all over. So, and didn't lose any of them. They had Marines with F-16s come in actually first, and they just bombed the heck out of it. Totally just, they were in a tree line at the end, and we knew they were there. There was a company on the backside holding them in, but they were far enough away that they couldn't get to it like we were, and it just I mean, they just didn't know where to go. And they had the F-16s come in and do the bombing raid, and the Cobras and everything else came in, and then we went in and just cleaned it up. But boy, there was people all over the, it's just a massacre is what it was. But of all that massacre we had there was nobody alive. I mean, there was nobody to take home as a prisoner of war or anything like that. They were just gone. And but they estimated 2,500 that were there, and that was the largest gathering I think at that time they had in '67. In '68, I was around where the My Lai massacre took place. That was our area before the 198th came in, and it was a nice area. But that's where we were at, and we were transported out several different times, but always came back to that area for some reason and camped around that area. My company was made up of approximately average 90 to 92 people. We never had a full company, but we were never overran either. Mm-hmm. All the people in my company were from New York, Rhode Island, in that northeastern country, except for about 5 of us. And most of them were either you go to jail or you go to Vietnam. Mm-hmm. And but they were all good guys. Out of most of the people we operated with, there wasn't none of them I wouldn't trust. I mean, I would just put my life right on the line for them. And they were all tremendous, really tremendous bunch of guys. And we never got overran. We got down to 16 guys at one time, but we never overran. And we you hear about companies getting totally overran. We never were that. We came close, but with all the gunships and everything else helping us, we stayed 16 alive. Mm-hmm. And we walked out. So it was quite an experience then.
Did you get any news of what was going on back in the States, all the anti-Vietnam demonstrations?
Well, my mother wrote me a letter one time with a picture in it she took off the television. I don't know how it came on in protesters, and she mailed that to me. But I never kept track of there because I never had the opportunity to go back to the rear to get the mail we got came out in the field. And by the time it got to me, it was either pretty well messed up, and my mother was not a photographic person. She just did that because she wanted to let us know that there was a lot of protesting going on. But I never paid much attention. Matter of fact, I just did what I had to do. It's a lot of people maybe thought more than I did, but my thought was I want to go home. When the time comes, I want to be alive to go home. And so I really paid attention to what I did there. I went over there as a E1, and 2 months into Vietnam I was a sergeant. Then a couple months after that I was an E6, and I was acting E7. So they were hurting for people but I was there the longest. I was the longest person there, and so I got rank awful fast. But we saw a lot of action. We did. I said I had 132 combat assaults, which I don't know if anybody had more than that or not. I couldn't tell you, but we had a lot of them.
What's your most vivid memory of Vietnam?
The beauty of it. It's a beautiful country. I mean, nice beaches. This is up north. I never was down, like I said, past Da Nang. I landed in July. I spent 2 hours in July and went to Da Nang right away, and that's the farthest south I got, was Da Nang, after I got there. Mm-hmm. And that wasn't very close. I walked a lot. Like I said, I walked point. I never hit a landmine. I never got hurt, thank goodness. I got shot in the leg. I got shot in the arm and lots of shrapnel. I have 103 pieces of shrapnel in me yet from taking the x-rays and everything else. But otherwise, I just, been pretty lucky. Nothing. I got one serious and one that just, got me hard. So, but I think the biggest thing I did, I walked point and never got hurt, basically. I did things a lot different. We had Lieutenant Colonel Nelson. He would downdraft orders where to go and what to do, and I used to catch more heck because I used to go just the opposite direction. If he told me to go to this hill a mile away or 2 miles and set up camp, I'd go to the hill next to it, because they listened to our radios. They knew exactly where we were going all the time, and I think that's saved me several times because I caught a lot of hell. But we've done it several times. Then you set up on that hill, and they find out you're over there, and you can just see them coming down that hill. They knew exactly where we were going. So, but I had a bunch of good guys. I did, and when I finally got to go home, I was discharged at Guam, through the Marine base, because we were attached to the Marines at that time. So, but I had lots of experiences. I was with some good guys, and they all did well. When the Ashaw Valley, when all those helicopters went down, I think they lost 18 helicopters. We were the company that came in and cleaned it all up. I mean, we were.
I was there.
Was you really? Yeah.
There's my tail water chain off the helicopter.
Huh.
I was a helicopter creature.
Was you really? Well, we're the ones that came in, and after, we got everything secured and everything, we just, cleaned it up. It didn't, actually, I really feel my company was mean. Let me tell you, I hate to say this, but they were mean. And I think the Vietnamese people knew that, because after we got in a couple firefights, and we had several of them, but I mean, I think they realized that we were tough. And a lot of times they'd let us go right through and hit the next bunch coming through, because I just had some mean guys. I had a guy shooting an M60 machine gun from his shoulder, and he was accurate with it. So I mean, they were mean. They really were. They didn't like the people there. They're there because either they go to jail or they go to Vietnam, and that's what we did well. I mean, the 102nd of the 1st 196 people were afraid of us because we just didn't have mercy. I mean, that's just the way it was. And they shoot at us, we shoot back.
So when did you get home?
January 13th, 1969. So I just, that's when I got back home. So,
would you do it again?
If my country called upon me, yes. Even as old as I am, I'd go. It's probably not the viability of myself, but it's the knowledge I have. That I think that's where I could help more than anything.
Today, whenever you hear Fort Leonard Wood, what's your reaction?
Fort Leonard Wood, that's where I first started. Yeah, that's where I learned to shoot, and I mean, that's where you learn to do everything, That's your basic training. You learn to shoot a pistol, you learn to shoot a gun. Of course, we never had M16s then, we had the M14s shooting them. And so that's where mine began.
Hill 69.
Hill 69. That was the first hill that the 196 actually found. They found it, of course they made an LZ out of it, and we operated from there for about 2 months. We'd go out and go through the area, clean it up, and then they put an artillery base on there. Hill 254 was a taller, kind of a pretty tall hill. I mean, it was straight up, but we took that and secured that base too, because they could set up kind of a watch over that. It wasn't very far, probably 1.5 miles from Hill 69. Like I said, I operated in the mountains. We would go up the side of the hills that you couldn't believe. And it's amazing, but we did. And like I said, when the Ashaw Valley, we could see it. We could see it happen where we were on top of this hill. It's amazing that you can see all these helicopters coming, and all of a sudden they're all down. And then all of a sudden they're picking us up to go in and and help secure the area. So I think the 101st was there first, weren't they? I think the 101st came in first, and somehow they left.
We took
Yeah.
over Camp Evans from 101st. I was first cav.
Okay, I think the 101st actually came in first, and somehow after they got everything taken care of, they left, and then we came in and secured everything up.
When you hear Tet, what's your reaction?
Just a lot of battles. That was, you know, when Ted came around, our firefights doubled. Never really I mean, the big things they knew about. I mean, they knew where they were at. Like when I went to Camp Duck, there was estimated 5,000 VC in the area. Well, we were prepared. They knew it. It's a small firefights that really get you, the 30, 25, and 30 group people. Because you can't see them as well, and you can't hear the movement as well as, you know, the regular larger groups. Because they could get them in a 55-gallon drums and bury themselves in the ground, and you walk right over the top of them. You don't even know they're there. And so that was a lot worse, the smaller groups.
When you got home and saw all the anti-Vietnam demonstrations, what was your reaction?
I never paid attention to them. I only had one kid that came up to me and really got in my face for being over there. And about 4 of the guys just pulled him off, and that was it. That's the only reaction. I came from a real small town, 1,200 people, and it was in South Dakota. So, you know, they're not in the bigger cities, and there was no protesting going on back there. There's only one kid that, like I said, came up to me and got in my face, and then, of course, they pulled him right off because they knew that he was a jerk anyway, I guess, you know. I fought for my country because I was asked to and directly ordered to, and that's just part of life. Same as all these other veterans that go into battle to protect our country. You go there for one reason, that's to secure the freedom that we have. So, and I just, you know, I did nothing good, nothing great, but I did my job the best I could.
What do you tell children today about Vietnam?
The hardships that we had. We had drinking water. Sometimes we had to get out of bombshell craters, and there's usually supposed to put 2 or 3 iodine tablets in there. Sometimes I'd have to put a half a bottle of it, you know, in there in my canteen because it was just bad. We had no, you know, drinking water coming out there all the time. I spent 10.5 months in the field before I got to come back to a base camp. I mean, we were in small fire camps, but never in a big base camp where you could take a shower or clean up. We cleaned up out of bombshells, and I was out there 10.5 months, I think, before I got to come back. I didn't take any R&R because the R&R I drew was from Hawaii, and one of the guys that just got married, went to Vietnam, asked me if he could take it, and I told him he could have my leave to go see his wife, and their little baby was born, so he took that week off and went there, so I didn't get one that year.
When you hear the name Lyndon Johnson, what's your reaction?
Well, he was our president at that time, and he's the one that ordered us to go to Vietnam to defend our country. I have nothing against him. That's just part of being a country of freedom we are. I mean, he did what he thought was right, and I think in Vietnam was a lot of political. After so many years you're out of the situation, you can look back and you can see a lot of the political play that took part, and they made a lot of money off it. I think they truly did.
Richard Nixon.
Richard Nixon. Oh, Richard Nixon. I think I was still kind of young because he really didn't do much for me. I mean, as per se, as what happened. He was the president, and if he told me to go back, I'd go back. Or if he told me to go somewhere else, I'm sure I'd go somewhere else because that's just the way I am. This is my country, and if somebody offends it, or I go after them. That's what they tell me to do. I do it.
September 11th.
September 11th. That was a shame. I don't think we really knew what was coming. A lot of people say that the FBI and CIA knew that there was something coming, but that's procrastination. You can't think that way. And a lot of political people do, and a lot of other people do too, but nobody knew where they were going to hit. I mean, they may say, well, be alert. That's like saying, walking down the street and there ain't no cars down there. Don't worry about it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It happened to us. It's a shame. We lost a lot of good people. It's just something that happens. I think the Lord kind of watches what happens, and we've never had anything drastically happen in this country, and it finally did. And it really rocked the nation. Mm-hmm. There is terrorists out there, and we let it go too long. We absolutely let this go too long. And if you want my feeling about it, I don't think there should be a terrorist that should live. He took 3,000 lives. If I went and took 3,000 lives from any foreign country, I'd be dead by now. And that's the way I feel about it. I know the Lord says that, forgive and forget, but I can't do that because that was my country.
When you heard about the judge in San Francisco said that the Pledge of Allegiance was unconstitutional, what was your reaction?
I think they should disbar him. I think he should leave our country if he doesn't like what we represent. I think anybody that offends our country, if they don't like our country, leave. There's other countries to go to. We don't need them here. And it's a shame. I mean, that person should have never done that. In God we trust. It's all over everything. And that's a symbol that we represent. And I think it was wrong for him to try to disbar that and get it out of the sayings that we have. And it's wrong. It definitely is wrong. This is our country. It's a country of freedom. And it's a country under God. And I think that's the way it should stay.
Well, sir, this is an excellent interview.
Well, I don't know about that, but yeah.
I want to thank you for your service and thank you for the interview.
I appreciate you interviewing me.
And again, this is July 2nd, 2002. My name is Joe Todd. This has been an interview with Monty
Zwanziger.
Zwanziger in Woodward, Oklahoma for the Eisenhower Library. Thank you.
Thank you.